Welcome to today's second video. My name is Jimmy. Thanks to everyone who doesn't forget to leave comments under the video. It motivates me to get better. Let's get started. Story 1 from user Tordenver. Girl I went to HS with has 4 kids from her first marriage. They divorced when they were in their early 40s. She decides she wants to get married again. She wants a religious family man and is convinced Nigeria is the route to go. She starts chatting up Nigerian guys on Facebook, goes over there, marries a guy she just met via her Facebook husband search. After a few months of her sending money to him after she's home, she's unable to 1 month because she has 4 kids to worry about. He freaks out and they wind up getting it annulled. But wait, there's more. A year later, she's on her way to Nigeria again because she's found another guy to marry. This time she goes over there once to visit, comes home, then basically is, "I am not giving you money until we marry." She goes back over again within 6 months to marry him. A month after getting home, she finds out she's pregnant. All is well. Eventually, she's unable to send money because 4 kids with twins on the way, and that comes first. He gets upset and they wind up divorced. She later finds out he'd been chatting up other women around the world and getting money from them, and was only going to use her for a green card to get to the States. I honestly don't feel bad for her. I feel bad for her 6 kids to have to witness their mom make stupid decisions. No idea how the hell she afforded all those plane tickets. She's given up on Nigeria now. Jamaica is on her sights now. So I am pretty sure before long, we'll see a shotgun wedding in Jamaica. Story 2 from user Real Abstract Squid Eye. My boyfriend's cousin. She's 21, dating a 19-year-old who looks 12 and is tiny. She's a very large woman. She's extremely physically abusive. I watched her pick this man up and lock him in the trunk of a car by sitting on top of it to induce a panic attack and win their argument at work. He always has bruises and black eyes. He proposes to her after a few months of dating. They get married. He annuls the marriage and leaves in secret the next day. Goes into hiding for 6 months. She posts lots of woe is me, sappy breakup stuff. Somehow out of nowhere, he's just back. They remarry at the courthouse, and now she's saying she's pregnant, but not telling her family. Her husband looks miserable, and according to the grapevine, doesn't work anymore, and is confined to the apartment they share. Whether that's by choice or not is up for debate. The poor guy looks like a withered husk of himself, and he's only 19. Edit. For everyone saying we are awful people for not helping the guy, are you insane? Of course we've reached out, confronted the wife, begged the husband to leave, called the cops, given him shelters and resource information. He is over 18 years of age. Calling the cops does nothing because he lies to them. They can't arrest his abuser just because I said there was a crime going on. He has to admit he's in danger and wants to press charges or wants help in leaving. He won't do that. Our hands are legally tied. Until he's ready to seek help, all of us are keeping an eye out. And no, the cops aren't doing nothing because he's a man. Cops do this to women too. If you are a woman, and I call the cops saying you are being abused, and you tell them you are not being abused, the cops will also do nothing because the victim of the crime is denying the crime occurred. Story 3 from user Gabarella24. 2 weeks. Kind of a long story. My sister was married to a real jackass. She stayed too long and the divorce has been bitter. The ex-husband is convinced my sister has a secret trust fund she is living off of, and he wants half. There is no such trust fund. I mean, in what hopefully will be many years when my dad dies, there may be money from his trust, but he's very much alive, so he's not entitled to that. So my sister hooked up with another guy, who apparently is friends with the ex. The ex told him about the trust fund, and somehow convinced my gullible sister to marry him, in the hopes that he would be more successful in getting the trust fund, the one that doesn't exist. This new husband, within days of marrying my sister, brought his ex-girlfriend, baby mama who was supposedly in an abusive relationship, and his child to stay with them. Very shortly after, it was learned that new hubby has been with baby mama the entire duration of the relationship, and the guy only went out with her because he thought she was a trust fund kid. So within a couple of weeks after the nuptials, they were at each other's throats, and he had thrown out and actually arrested and basically kept all her belongings. He filed a restraining order against so she couldn't come to the house. I'm not saying my sister deserved this, but she does have a habit of stretching the truth. These guys didn't get the idea there was a trust fund from their asses. This marriage only basically lasted 2 weeks. Story 4 from user Thanks Donna. My second husband changed completely after we got married. He made lots of effort in the relationship before we were married, but as soon as he'd got me, things changed. Why would I spend 10p to text you during the day when I'll see you at home tonight? But the biggest was that we had agreed I would continue full-time and he would go part-time, he was also at part-time night school, to fit in with childcare after the birth of our daughter. We had also agreed to look for a bigger house after the baby was born. About 3 months in, he got tired of this setup and wanted to go back full-time work, gave up night classes, and left me literally holding the baby. I had no option but to give up my job and take something with more child-friendly hours, which meant we couldn't afford a bigger home as I earned more. Everything we agreed together as a family when pregnant and planning the marriage he went back on. He was the one that pushed for the baby. I agreed on the basis that he would be primary caregiver. He changed his mind. He broke all his promises and set my career back 10 years while I brought up my daughter single-handed. I'm a nurse, I couldn't do it without childcare for my shift pattern, and he knew it. He used to not turn up to pick up the baby, and I would have to phone in sick. Some men complain that their exes don't let them have the kids. I didn't need maintenance money, I needed my child looked after so I could work. Ended up with neither. Oh God, that turned into a rant. We are good now, remarried to a good man. Kid almost grown and nursing full-time again. Story 5 from user Reshkaden. Used to do a weekly movie game night with 2 straight couples, plus me and my partner. Both couples had kids and seemed perfectly content with each other. One night while we were having dinner before the movie, the wife of the first couple got up to go to the restroom and left her phone unlocked on the table. At some point, the conversation topic turns to something cute their kid did that day, and the husband picks up his wife's phone and opens the photo app to show us the video. The phone is full of dozens of bad pics and full body of the husband of the second couple. Shocked and not knowing what to do, the first husband simply turns the phone around and shows the whole table just as his wife returns from the restroom. There is a very long silence as everyone stares and mentally puts it together. Then the other couple's wife quietly stands up and says they need to go. Right now. No more words were said or exchanged beyond a few mumbles. My partner and I also left as quickly as possible. Both couples were separated within a few days and divorced shortly thereafter. The 2 star-crossed lovers briefly dated for real, and then also blew up for unspecified reasons a few months later. Story 6 from user Snaggled Sabertooth. My uncle. Took a year for them to get engaged, and a year for them to divorce, if that. My uncle is a nice guy. His first marriage didn't end well. He wanted a family. Along comes this leech within the fire department, half his age. They ended up falling for each other, and they got engaged fast. Well, they were supposed to have the wedding real fast, like the next year, but ended up cutting that in half and getting married in the court by themselves sooner. This girl was sketched the whole time. She had 2 past husbands, 3 children, and I guess she was getting alimony or something, even though she didn't have even practical custody over any of them. The one vacation we went on, she basically kidnapped her oldest son for because her father demanded he stay and go to football camp, but she took him on the trip without having legal custody. On top of that, her other 2 kids were brats, and she was super entitled about anyone talking to them about their behavior. One punched my brother, and he pushed him into a sand dune to not hurt him, but retaliate. And she yelled at my brother for shoving her kid because he was defenseless. Meanwhile, severely mistreating my cousin, the uncle's son, by trying to control everything he did and not allowing him on electronics, or to go out with us. That was the only vacation she went on with us. My uncle ended up paying all her bills, helping her pay for her kids, any support she needed. He gave her even though she was plenty supported already. After he had his name on all of her stuff, he found her phone. littered with messages and pictures of NSFW things. Turns out this thought was banging the entire fire department, having threesomes, the whole shebang. No one in the department bothered to confront my uncle, even though this has been happening like a month or two into the marriage. Even though they were married less than a year, he still got stuck with her bills for a while, having to take her to court and fight everything. She got him for alimony too, I think. He may have had to stop paying her though. Luckily, he found a nice older woman who is super sweet. She acts so much better and more thoughtful, wanting to help and spend time with the family. She has already had her kids move out, but she is super nice and caring towards my little cousin and helps keep my uncle organized. They aren't even married, and everyone already calls her aunt. Happy ending to a trashy story. Story 7 from user deleted. Me. 6 months. I moved to a new area after high school and became good friends with the neighbor's son. I was quickly integrated into his normal gaming group, and we became tight. He and his girlfriend had been dating for 6 years already, since about freshman year of high school, when he proposed. We were less than enthusiastic about it because they were constantly fighting, but whoever he was a big boy and could make his big boy decisions. When it came time to make the wedding party, she asked me to be a bridesmaid. I was cool with it because she and I had gotten close. She was cool to hang out with, always up for a good time. Got my first tat with her too. However, she was always complaining about him. How much weed he smoked, how much he played video games, hung out with his friends, how stupid his friends were, etc. The maid of honor had to sit her down and AKA her why she was getting married, and she said she wanted the husband, the child, the white picket fence, etc. Then the groomsman and I sat him down and asked him why, to which he said he thought she was the best he could do. Despite some weak protests, see, both grown adults, they got married, and their first fight was during the photos post ceremony. Their marriage lasted 6-7 months. Officially, I don't know why they divorced. Rumors speculate that she sabotaged their birth control, leading to a sooner than desired pregnancy. Cheating rumors came up too. Honestly, if you asked me, it was the living under one roof and realizing how incompatible they were that did it in. Sadly, I've lost contact with both of them. She went full-on mean girl, and he moved away. I still keep in contact with a couple of the groomsmen though, and according to them, he has been in an actually loving relationship. Story 8 from user Original Appa. My friend, we'll call her B, dated a guy, we'll call him Chris, our senior year of high school. After 6 months or so, he wanted to propose to her. One of our mutual friends, A, pushed hard against. I kept telling B that Chris is just proposing since he was going on a 9-month-long mission trip in another country and wanted to make sure A was going to be there when he got back. I was against the whole engagement thing too, but I know love is blind, and I can only hope it all turns out okay. B and Chris get married about a year later. It was a super small wedding with only a few family members. They got an apartment together, then Chris got injured at work and couldn't work anymore. They had to move in with his family. I visited them and hung out with A for a bit. I was about to head out when Chris came home. They got in a small fight about something dumb, and I headed out. I moved away, and we grew apart for a bit when I got a friend request on Facebook from B. I accepted and saw she changed her name back to her maiden name. She was no longer in a relationship with Chris. So I was visiting Oregon and hung out quit B for the first time since. I brought it up and she confirmed that they got a divorce. She told me that her dad got laid off at his job he's worked at for 40 years. He doesn't even have an email, let alone a resume. So she bought him a laptop and helped him apply to jobs. Between this and working 2 jobs, she didn't see Chris a whole lot. Chris out of nowhere accuses her of cheating, gets his whole family in on it. B is reasonably pissed because she's literally just been working and helping her dad. It gets out of hand and they divorce. She ended up meeting another guy and it's going well. She's taking things slow, which is good. I'm proud of her. Thanks to everyone who was here today. See you tomorrow on new videos. Bye-bye.